And Fazman, that was a bit of Mr. Brightside by the Killers.
I love the Killers.
Yeah. But speaking of killing it, there's a young lad down in Tassie, Eli. Eli, can you hear us there, mate?
All good, no problem.
Yeah, fantastic.
G'day there, Eli.
Welcome to the show.
What's that?
Welcome to the show. It's great to have you on board.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Eli, I've been watching your progress in golf for the last 18 months. And you're obviously involved with the Tasmanian Institute of Sport down there. You're now sort of playing in some regular tournaments, and you've had a big couple of weeks. Last week you played in the Junior National Amateur Champs, and then this week you've been captaining Tasmania in the group tournament. So that was up in Ulverston. So you've had a big couple of weeks. Pretty windy conditions, I would have thought, down there in Tassie. But about 18 months is when you got started into golf. And tell us, you used to be a junior footballer, and then you made the change. And 18 months ago, what was the reason you got into golf and your love for golf, and where's your career progressed up to now?
I think the reason I got into the game was my grandfather actually plays. He plays twice a week with a bunch of his mates, and he kind of just took me along to one of the clinics that Nick White runs at Tasmania Golf Club. He used to run on a Saturday afternoon, and you're right, I was playing footy pretty heavily for when I was about 12-ish, and took me along one day, and I have 3 other siblings, so Mum and Dad just said, we can't have you playing, Saturday and Sunday. We've got to run around my brothers and sisters a bit too. So I just decided, I love golf, and I'm actually better at golf anyway. So I just kind of stuck with it, and I gradually fell in love with the game. Yeah, just through that.
Yeah. Now you've been playing in a few tournaments. I think around about 12 months ago, you came over here and you were playing down in Mandurah, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had the Mandurah Amateur. Mandurah Country Club. It was it was good to catch up with you actually, Paul, and it was good to play over there for the first time. It was definitely a different style of golf over there. The golf courses were spectacular from what I saw, and the greens were a little bit different to Tassie, and
a bit quicker.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Bit hotter climate over here, Eli. There's probably not as much rainfall as what you're used to down there in Hobart. But tell us about this week and what you experienced last week. You're only around 16, and you're playing up against guys that are older, the 17, almost 18. So that's a great experience for you to have that sort of level of competition. But how did you go last week?
Yeah, so I had a good first round. I was leading after round one. My game was in a great spot leading into it. I had me and my coach really worked hard on the months leading into it. All my hard work was kind of going into this event. Having the nationals at my home track, there's nothing more than what you could want, really, and especially having it in Tassie. I knew the home support was going to be huge, and I knew it was just going to be an event I wanted to win or at least do well in. So I was joint leader after round one, and then I think I got the wrong side of the draw in round two, and unfortunately, as soon as I teed off in the afternoon, teed off at 1:30 in round two, which is always going to be a bit of a question whether or not the weather was going to hold off for me, and it just started, pouring down with rain, and I wasn't really prepared for it, and I just had to grind out a score in round two. So I eventually signed for 4 over 76, and I was 1 over after 36 holes. And so in the third round, moving day, I thought I definitely needed to make a charge up the leaderboard, and I hit it the same as I did in round one, and I just didn't hole any putts. It was a frustrating day. Because I was hitting a lot of greens and giving myself a lot of chances for birdie that I wasn't quite able to convert, and a lot of them were looking like they were going to drop, and it was just one of those days. It was just really frustrating, and I 3-putted the last, which definitely left a very sour taste in my mouth, and I wasn't a happy camper coming off, but I was the last person on the putting green on that night, and I thought I kind of got it worked out a bit, and got off to a slow start the next day. I was 3 over through 9, and I knew I needed to make something happen. I knew I needed to shoot a low score. I've had 7 under around that track before, so I thought I needed at least probably 5 or 6 to get a top 5 or at worst a top 10 finish. And I was forcing it a bit too much. I had a debrief with my coach for a couple of hours after the tournament was over, and I was definitely forcing it the whole week because I wanted it so badly. And in round 4, I just gradually fell apart a bit mentally, and unfortunately collapsed a little bit. But that's golf, and it's a hard pill to swallow. But we just got to move on now and accept what I've learned from it, and move on and become a better player from it. So yeah.
Yeah, well, look, you're only young. You've got a big career ahead of you. You're playing against guys, as I mentioned, that are older, that have probably been in your position many, many more times than you.
Yep.
They've probably been able to handle that pressure. And you would have had some pressure. You've got your family there watching you. You've got locals that know you. You've got the media that are expecting a Tassie boy to get up and hopefully, have a big result. But, you'll learn from that, no doubt. And is the plan to play in more tournaments nationally rather than just playing local tournaments down there in Tasmania?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's, at the moment, I've progressed from just from the state tournaments to national ranking events. So I'm trying to, I feel all my games in a position to where I can compete with the best juniors around the country. And over the last six months-ish, I've kind of got myself, I've produced a few, good results on the mainland that have kind of solidified my position as a contender with the best players in the country around on the mainland. And I think the next step forward is just to keep playing the national events in the next 6 to 8 months, and keep progressing and keep playing different golf courses in different states and getting familiar with different types of greens and different grasses and all that sort of stuff, and the different weather conditions that you get in each state. And keep building my way up the order of merit rankings this year, which is definitely a goal of mine. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to a good year.
Now, Eli, it's not the easiest game. I've had a few lessons in my day, and it's extremely frustrating. So how often do you, or how many hours do you put into your golf every week?
Well, I'd probably say I'm working on it each and every day. I'm alive on the planet, really. It's all I really think about after. If I don't have school on, then I'm on the golf course. I mean, even if I do have school on, I'm trying to make the most of the little daylight we've got left. But it's usually straight from school to the golf course, and then when it gets dark, I'm usually putting in my room, and I'm always working on something. Even at school, I find myself looking at my golf swing, so which is probably not what I should be doing. But definitely putting in a lot of hours. I'm extremely determined in what I want to achieve through this game. So just putting the utmost hours in at the moment and seeing where that can lead me.
I mean, it's phenomenal, really, to think that you're interested in another sport, and then you've come along, you've found golf, which is, I think, one of the most frustrating sports there is out there, and you've just done so incredibly well in such a short period of time. So you must have a bit of a natural talent, or a lot of natural talent there. I'm interested to know that. I believe that when you were playing in Ulverston this week, I noticed that there was some mixed teams. Does that mean that you're actually out on the course with both male and female competitors?
Yeah, so the Interstate Series is there's a few different components to it, but there's a total team result. The total team result is from boys and girls. Mm-hmm. It's 4v4 in the boys and the girls, so they have the individuals playing one another, and then the match score, whether you win or you lose, will go towards the team score at the end. And so obviously there'll be 8 players if you've got a boys team and a girls team, and say you win 5 matches and you lose 3, the winning score would be 5-3, and you'll get the points to move on. But there is also you've got the boys and the girls individual tournaments as well. So you have the 4v4. You got the boys and the girls. So there's a boys tournament and a girls tournament. But the thing the thing is that the series itself is about both. So,
Right.
there you go. Yeah.
Well, Eli, like I mentioned, I've been sort of watching your progress over the last 18 months and got to see you play a little bit when you came over here to Perth. And if you do pop over again, I'm sure SD and I can pop down there and keep an eye on you, and we will, follow your progress. But give us a bit of an idea. You're saying you've got aspirations in the sport. What's your plan from here? Like, you're obviously wanting to play in as many tournaments as you can. Are you wanting to play, in nationals and also overseas? Or what's the plans and what sort of timeline would that be?
So I'm thinking the plan at the moment, through the next sort of 6 to 8 months through to a year, it's mostly trying to develop myself through the national ranking system till I'm about 17-ish, and from there, the back half of that, the last 6 months-ish till I'm 18, I'll be definitely progressing to hopefully more international stuff, and hopefully on from there. Once I've done that for a little bit, the ultimate goal is to turn professional and start playing on some sort of tour and earn a living through it. So
get some jackets.
Just all, or the just all the work I'm putting in. It's just progressing through each stage of it, and hopefully progress far enough to a point where I can make a living through it. So
well, making a living from it, I can understand that golf as a sport and the travel that's involved. I mean, it's a pretty costly sport, especially from Tasmania. Right. Every time you've got to go to a tournament, you're going to have to jump on a plane, whereas some other golfers that might be in Melbourne or Sydney or Brisbane or Adelaide or maybe in Perth, that they don't have to travel as much as you. So there's obviously a lot of costs involved. So I'm sure the Tasmanian Institute of Sport help out in some respects, but you'd be looking for somebody to possibly sponsor you and help you with the travel costs and what it would involve for you to get up to the level you want to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on there, Paul. It's a very expensive. It is a very expensive, costly sport. It's the travel and getting the clubs over there and the accommodation and all that sort of stuff. The cost racks up at the end of the day, and I am definitely looking for new sponsors. I've had a few in the past. I've had the Carbine Club of Tasmania and a few kind of minor ones, and I'm trying to get a few more as well. My dad's helping me through that. He's got a fair few connections, so he's trying to reach out to a few people, and hopefully we do get a few that come through, but if not, we do get a bit of support from Golf Australia, and they fund trips over to tournaments and all that sort of stuff. But I think definitely through sponsors, I can play in as many as I need throughout the year.
Well, being over here in WA, I know there's been some very good golfers come out of Perth, and there's a few nice mining companies over here, Eli, that if you were positioned over here, we might try and recruit him, SD, and get his name out there in WA. You never know, they might be able to attract a couple of good sponsors over here. What would you think about that, Eli?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'd be a great opportunity. The golf courses over there are phenomenal, the coaches and all that sort of stuff. But, anything that, if there's sponsors over there as well, it's a great opportunity. But I'm thinking I do have a lot of, I've got my coach down here. I've got, the Tassie high performance stuff and all that sort of stuff. I think I've got a strong enough relationship with my coach, Nick, that if I was to move, which not saying is a possibility yet, but if I was somehow to move, then I'd still come back to Tassie and see him when I'm down and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think if there's opportunities in the future, then it's on the table, but we'll just take it as it comes, I think.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Well, we'll certainly be monitoring your progress and your success here at IPL Radio and giving you a shout out and hopefully get some interest from some Tasmanian sponsors there.
Yeah, we'll put this interview out on our socials and also up on our IPL Radio YouTube channel. So hopefully we can get a little bit more of awareness for what you're been able to achieve and what you're aspiring to do in your career. Talking of golf, there's a big golf tournament in South Australia, the Live Golf in Adelaide this weekend, I believe. What's your thoughts of the competition there, and is that something you'd like to be involved in later on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, Greg. I think Greg's trying to grow the game, and I think it's great that he's bringing such. I mean, the world's best to Australia, and it's great to have that in Adelaide, and it's great to have that environment and that sort of level of golf in Australia again. And I mean, I think if he was to approach me, I'm not sure I'd turn it down. But he's I think he's. I mean, I can't really see much wrong with what he's trying to do. I guess I don't really understand a lot about what behind it and all the Saudi stuff, but from my view, I think it's good for the game. To be honest, I mean he's trying to do something different and spice it up a bit. So I mean, why not? Yeah, good on him. So
now, SD, you mentioned you had a few lessons in golf.
I did, yes.
Yeah, well, I'm a left-hander,
right?
And I've played a little bit of Ambrose 4 with a few little corporate days, you know. But I've got a terrible slice.
Right.
I spend a lot of time over in the trees and the lake.
Yes.
Generally, the ducks actually see more of the ball than I do.
See, distance is my issue.
Distance?
Can't get the distance.
Right.
And when I can putt. Yeah. I was all right at putting, but I had some lessons. Actually, I had a second lot of lessons when I came to Perth in what was where now the stadium is. It used to be a golf course.
Oh, yes.
Had it there.
Burswood 18.
That's right. I had a few lessons down there, and the instructor said to me, he said, SD, you've got all the technique. You just don't have any skill. And I thought, right, that's it. Thank you very much for my lessons, but I'm not getting it. So and ultimately my issue is that I follow through. Everything seems to look okay. Yeah. But the ball only goes 5 metres when I give it a whack.
That's certainly very different to the drives that I've seen of Eli. Eli, what sort of distance would you drive? What are you 250 metres or what? Yeah,
at the moment I'm sitting around. I'm actually hitting the ball. The furthest I've ever hit it personally, I'm sitting around about a 280-ish, 285-ish with roll. So I've carried about 265 on a good day. So I'm all the gym work and all that sort of stuff certainly paying off. But yeah.
But I don't think you use the Happy Gilmore style of hitting the ball.
No, I've learnt not to after watching that movie.
Yeah, because from what I've researched, you had a handicap of around +1. Is that around about right?
Yeah, +2. So I've come down since then. Yeah.
Right. So where are you sort of ranked at the moment for your age group?
It's a bit hard to tell. There's not a national under 16s, under 17s ranking. There's only an under 18s. I finished, I think it was 20, maybe 27th for the national under 18 ranking last year. I'm ranked number 1 in Tasmania for juniors at the moment, and I think I won't exactly be able to reflect on the year until they have a final standings and a final leaderboard for the order of merits and all that sort of stuff at year's end. So you get to progress your way up there, and if you can hold your own up the top there until year's end, you've done really well. So I think it's definitely a goal to crack inside the top 10 this year, and maybe even the top 5. So just keep playing these events and see where that leads me, I guess. Yeah,
that's exciting.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
and he's only 16.
I know, it's phenomenal.
And he's playing against 17-year-olds that are almost 18. So they've had a year and a half on him with experience and all the other tournaments that they've been able to play. So,
what's next? What's the next tournament that you've got lined up?
I've got I've actually got a match play event tomorrow, and then on the weekend I've got the Southern Open, and then another match play event on the Monday. So we've got a couple down here, and then from here I'll have a look at a calendar, and probably the most likely next tournament will be July. I got New South Wales Junior, but I'll definitely look to be, if there's a couple in Victoria, I'll just definitely look to have a quick trip up there and play in as many order of merit ranking events as I can. So over the next 8 months, I'll be looking to play in pretty much everything that I can. So thoroughly looking forward to a busy year, yeah.
Well, I hope you're leaving a bit of time for a bit of socialisation, being a 16-year-old. Can't miss out on that too.
There wouldn't be too much time for the ladies, though, would there, Eli, if you're out in the golf course? Or is there a couple of little nice ladies down at the golf course that are playing in the women's that you might have a little Coca-Cola with?
No, I think I'm focusing on the right stuff, I think.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, well, we might try and put our word out, SD, and see if we can come across a couple of sponsors of someone that might want to support Eli with his journey.
Well, it's definitely worth doing, because the improvement in such a short period of time, and to be at that level already, is astounding. So there's no question this fella's one to watch.
He's definitely one to watch, and see IPL Radio. We can dig
Revealed
them
him
up.
first.
We can dig them up, and like I've said, I've been watching him for 18 months. And it was great to catch up with him when he was over here in Mandurah. And if you do get over again for a tournament, Eli, make sure you come into the studio and come back and be on our show. And we'd love to hear your progress and keep an eye on your achievements. And we're really excited to watch you and follow what you're doing. So all the best with your career, and we'll certainly love to keep in contact with you and have you on the show again.
100%.
Especially after you've probably attended some of these tournaments in New South Wales and Victoria. They sound like there'll be great opportunities for you. So thanks for joining us here on Talking Sport on IPL Radio with SD and the Fazman. Thanks for your time. I know you've had a big couple of weeks, so
go rest up.
Yeah, rest up, and then start whacking those balls again down at the driving range and get back into it.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks very much for having me.
Thanks, Eli. Cheers. Take care.
Cheers. Thank you.
What a sensational guy.
He's
very exciting.
Guy.
Definitely one to watch.
Yeah, he's very committed. He's putting in the work, and
you can hear the passion, can't you?
Very passionate. He comes from a good family. Mm-hmm. His father's a real sporting nut. He's was an A-grade cricketer down there in Tassie, and he's right into coaching. He's got that support and guidance behind him. And obviously he's got a good support group at the Tassie Institute of Sport and his own coach. So I think he's on the right track, and I think he'd be really, really one to watch in the next couple of years in the national tournaments. So it'll be great for us to watch him, SD.
Absolutely. I look forward to hearing about his next adventures and his tournaments, and wish him all the very best. All right, so coming up next, we're going to have finish off with the rugby. Yes. Bit of a tradition.
Yeah, Simon's just entered the studio, so...
So we'll go to a bit of a quick song, and then we'll be back with a bit more talking sport. We'll be talking rugby.
Very
awesome.
good.
All right, here's a bit of Katy Perry.